So you're welcome again to the show. Today we're talking about success story, and I'm super excited to hear another great story from an amazing woman. Well, today I have obviously my co-host Patricia. Good morning.
Good morning, Rose Blossom. Is Women's Corner.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be listening to another beautiful success story from a great woman. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Well, today, like I said, is a success story. But before I introduce her guest, because she's joining us via Zoom, she's not physically with us. So we'll go for a tip, and this tip is developing a positive relationship with people. Your office, your church, your mosque, whatever it is, you can always develop good, healthy relationship, and positive relationship. Trust me, there are some negative relationship that you do not need. In fact, trust me, when you see someone when you see someone always say negative things, always insultive, always triggering you, you just find out that every time
not positive too.
Yes, not positive. That's what I'm saying. Obviously the person is negative. Every time you're being triggered, you're not happy, you're complaining, run. If you have 4 legs, run. Anyway, so here's the tip to develop a positive relationship with people around you, and you should be able to discern which relationship is better and works for you. So let's quickly go for the tip, and of course we'll be right back to continue the program listening to a success story. We'll be right back.
It's tips for developing positive relationships. One of the most profound experiences we can have in our lives is the connection we have with other human beings. Positive and supportive relationships will help us to feel healthier, happier, and more satisfied with our lives. Here are a few tips to help you to develop more positive and healthy relationships in all areas of your life. Accept and celebrate differences. One of the biggest challenges we experience in relationships is that we are all different. We can perceive the world in many ways. Certainly, a stumbling block that we come across when we try to build relationships is a desire or an expectation that people will think like we do. And in this way, it is so much easier to create a rapport. Life, however, would be very dull if we were all the same. And while we may find it easier initially, the novelty of sameness soon would wear off. So accepting and celebrating that we are all different is a great starting point. Listen effectively. Listening is a crucial skill in boosting another person's self-esteem, the silent form of flattery that makes people feel supported and valued. Listening and understanding what others communicate to us is the most important part of successful interaction, and vice versa. In active listening, we also are genuinely interested in understanding what the other person is thinking, feeling, wanting, or what the message means. Give people your time. In a world where time is of the essence and we are trying to fit in more than one lifetime, we don't always have the time to give to our loved ones, friends, and work colleagues. Technology has somewhat eroded our ability to build real rapport, and we attempt to multitask by texting and talking at the same time. Being present in the time you give people is also important, so that when you are with someone, you are truly with someone and not dwelling in the past or worrying about the future. Develop your communication skills. Communication occurs when someone understands you, not just when you speak. One of the biggest dangers with communication is that we can work on the assumption that the other person has understood the message we are trying to get across. Poor communication in the workplace can lead to a culture of backstabbing and blame, which in turn can affect our stress levels, especially when we don't understand something or feel we have been misled. Manage mobile technology. By now, pretty much everyone has a mobile phone, and many people have 2 or more. While they are a lifesaver in an emergency and an effective tool for communication, they also can be a complete distraction when people exhibit a lack of mobile phone etiquette. Learn to give and take feedback. Feedback, in my opinion, is the food of progress, and while it may not always taste great, it can be very good for you. The ability to provide constructive feedback to others help them to tap into their personal potential and can help to forge positive and mutual beneficial relationships. Learn to trust more. Trust goes a long way for anybody. Develop empathy. Empathy and understanding builds connection between people. It is a state of perceiving and relating to another person's feelings and needs without blaming, giving advice, or trying to fix the situation. Empathy also means reading another person's inner state and interpreting it in a way that will help the other person and offer support and develop mutual trust.
All right, you're very welcome back. Yes, that's an amazing tip for a good relationship, developing a very good relationship. So yes, let's introduce our guest for today. We have Glory Emmanuel Tene. She is a gospel minister. She is a songwriter, of course, a public servant. I would say a women empowerment coach and a speaker. Can we have Glory on the screen? Good morning, Glory.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for having me on Women's Corner.
Thank you.
It's indeed a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm super excited to actually have you join us despite your busy schedule. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Let me congratulate my big sister, Sister Patricia, on your convocation. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You look so pretty.
Thank you.
As usual.
Okay.
You look amazing.
All right. So we would have to listen.
So
we want to, not we would have to. We want to listen to your success story. So we're going to start from the very beginning. But when I mean very beginning, I'm not talking as a child, basically. I'm talking like after school. How did you choose to walk in this line? Because I know, aside from being a gospel artist, you're also into a particular sector, which is would I say politics? I'm going to say politics. Not really.
No,
okay.
Assembly.
Okay, National Assembly. Okay, right. So great. Now you're going to tell us how you became a gospel singer, and at the same time you were, you're also into the National Assembly. So please, we would like to hear the story of how you met persons, or the kind of struggle you went through, or the challenge you went through. Or is it just a beautiful journey all through? We just want to hear everything. Thank you very much.
Why, thank you so much. It's definitely not a beautiful journey all the way. It all started when I finished my secondary school. I went for my degree, finished. Then I got a job. But before the job, the music has been there. I grew up from a Christian home. My father was a reverend. He's late now, Reverend Israel Gangum. God bless his soul. So I grew up in the family of Christians. My siblings are musicians. We all, do music in church. So most musicians, I believe, that's where it all started. So my own story is not different. It all started in church. Grew up, seeing myself singing as a pastor's child. Whether people are in church or not, you're always there doing it. So I grew up seeing myself into music. I wasn't really conscious of it because I see it as a normal thing until people start calling my attention. Why not, go in and record? I'm like, do I really have that, talent to go into music, full time? I was kind of skeptical because I felt I didn't have, and I wasn't that good enough to go into music. Until when I got married, my husband discovered it. He was like, you are good, go out and do it full time. So I decided to give it a try. In 2005, I released my first album. And when it came up, people, the way people accepted it gave me confidence that yes, I was doing the right thing. That was how I continued until now. And the good thing is that I'm here in the music. My children are also in the music with me. We're all doing music all the way till now. Thank you.
So if I may come in there, how do you combine music with your job? Because I know you work. So how do you combine these two tasks?
Honestly, it's not easy. It has not been easy, but one thing is determination. If you put your mind to doing something, you will see through to it. Then the kind of people you have around you, they also help you to achieve your goal. I must commend my husband because he has been my strength. He has been my encouragement. Even when I don't feel like doing music, he will say he's not into music, but he has really, really supported me. Right from like I said earlier, the first album I released, he was the one that pushed me and said, I have the talent, I have everything it takes, I should go it and do it. So he has been, even when I feel sick, when I feel tired, when I don't even feel like doing the music, his encouragement, you got go ahead and do it, that people are looking up to you. So that thing really helped me and to keep moving despite the challenges. Actually, it's not easy. The children are there. The job is also demanding, church activities, families, are so many things, so many challenges come along the way. But like I said, I have so many people that are encouraging me, most especially my husband. He's my greatest cheerleader. He has been my sponsor. He has been my executive producer. He has been everything I needed in music. And that has kept me till now.
What was really the journey like for you into the house, into the National Assembly? What was the journey? What made you, or how did you, go into that sector?
Okay. Like every graduate, you'll be looking for a job. I was actually searching for a job, and the advert came online, on newspapers rather. I applied, and voila, I got the job. That's how it all, it happened. Suddenly, I found myself here. And it has been a journey of progress.
There's been a lot of talks about people who are
me.
into the gospel music. Now, it's alleged that we have a lot of there are cult groups too in in gospel world, the gospel ministers, right? And without no evidence, but people have been coming out to say a lot of things, that this is what is happening. That's why you see some certain gospel artists can never invite this other certain kind of gospel artists, and some gospel artists would even be invited to the same occasion, and there's a brush through. And literally, of course, we expect so much from the gospel artists because of the kind of songs they sing, and of course the reason why they are singing this particular kind of song. Now, for you, what's your experience like meeting other gospel artists, sitting with them in a room, ministering with them, maybe in the same program, or maybe trying to liaise with other gospel artists, the ones that are the top guns in the industry? How's the relationship been like? What would you say about it?
It has been interesting in the sense that, the ministry has a lot to offer. There are so many genres that people, look out for. Some go for praise, some their strength is praise, some their strength is worship. It all depends. So it depends on what people really want. So as an artist, if you are able to specify or clearly define your line, it depends on the kind of people that will give you, the room to the kind of people that will invite you. Then when you are invited, you mingle with other ministers. Then there are some concerts where all those categories I mentioned are found there. So by the time you come and mingle with them, you interact with them, you hear them sing, you're also blessed by their own ministrations. Likewise, you blessing other people. Then to an extent, there's this a group, like you said, that people look out for because they've been there over time and their music has gained popularity over time. So people tend to look out for such people alone. But by the time you have a privilege of sharing the stage with them, people get to know that, okay, there's more to it than all these people that have been, those that have been set in quotes. Then there's more to. There are so many good music, gospel music artists out there, ministers rather. We are not artists, we are ministers. There are so many of them out there, but people tend to go with some few people because of their popularity, because of how they've come all the way. But there's future for everybody. Everyone is striving to do, what we are ought to do as music ministers.
Fantastic. Okay, so my question is, like Blossom had asked, how do you feel when you're among the other music ministers or gospel ministers? There's this story that has been making waves. Everybody has been talking how ministers charge millions to come minister in a church program. How true is this? Have you had such an experience? Do you also charge millions to go minister? Do you charge millions? Like, I want to invite you now and say, okay, come over to minister for Blossom and I because we're big girls. And then we don't know if you're going to ask us to pay 10 million, 20 million. How true is this?
Well, this is a serious issue because there are so many approaches to it. In my own case, I don't charge. Probably because I'm not that big yet. Maybe when I become big, I might charge. I don't know. But basically, when you look at those that charge in millions, you also look at their capacity. You look at the people that work for them, the people that are under them. If they don't charge, how do they take care of them? Because it's the same people that say they are charging too much will say, okay, they don't take care of their artists or the people that are working with them. So for those that charge, I believe, is for them to meet up because the standard has been set. So they don't want that standard to drop because they have so many things that is at stake, the equipment, the resources, and logistics and everything. So if they don't charge, you might not really understand what they are worth. But having said that, for those that don't charge, it all depends on their own perception. They feel they freely have they given the gifts, freely will they give out. So some of them that don't charge, that are big out there, that are big names. Over time, people have already understood their words. Then they give them according to their words. But for those that are really insisting on charges because maybe they feel people don't know their worth yet, and they have a lot of responsibilities to take care of. But for those of us that are out there, I do a lot of charity programs. I go on programs on my own. I take care of the people I go with on my own. I believe that is my calling. I believe freely have I received, freely should I give. So I do that. I go all the way on my own to do it. But I don't know, like I said earlier, maybe by the time I get up there, I might charge, I might not, depending on the circumstances that might come along the way. Thank you.
Okay, well, I love what she said, but it's a bit, the angle that I would even want to bring it out from is the part where, yes, like you said, they have to take care of their bills, they have to take care of themselves, there's family there. But we're talking about gospel artists that bill in millions. We have the secular artists who bill in millions too. We just feel like a lot of people feel like gospel artists should not be billing that much when you have to come for a concert, because yes, we have to take care of your flights and everything, I just feel like, I don't know, well, because it's not even about me, it's about what a lot of people feel. Yes, there are some churches, there are some persons, organizations that when they call you, they can pay that amount of money. But, you know, because of the way Christianity faith is, they believe that you shouldn't even have that much, because the next thing they'll start saying is, that's not Christ-like. Christ did not charge
You know, where I was going
to do things like that.
course,
So I don't
of
know
course.
what you think about that. You can add your question to your
Yes,
answers.
yeah, it has to do with what you had just said. So too, okay. So I was thinking, your big music, Christian music artists or ministers. I mean, there's some that are big, in quotes, very big. They are rich now, you know. Can't they just organize ministering to people for free? I mean, sometimes it doesn't have to be every time you're charging. You know, you could also put this ministration together, you know, to preach the gospel for free. Coupled with what Blossom had just said.
Well, to a large extent, they do. I know of throne rooms. I know so many programs have been organized for free. People go there for free and they get blessed. They don't charge for that. It's only when an organization or a church call them, of course they'll put their bills into consideration. I want to believe they charge according to their bills. Some might be outrageous, which is not really good. It's not really speaking well of a gospel artist. But then we understand with them. So most of them do it according to the responsibility or the bills they have on ground. So something that can cover up for their the charges.
Okay, all right. So, well, why was he asking more questions about? I don't know why. I feel like we're putting
Her on the spot.
on the spot. We're putting her on the hot seat because this is supposed to be like a success story. But apologies, there are a lot of questions that surround gospel artists, and we just want to know what's going on in that world. So yes, we still have Glory Emmanuel with, but let's go for a short break. And yes, after the short break rather. We'll be having a tip, and the tip is all about avoiding temptation, which is where we're gonna come. It's as if we're still putting on the hot seat again, but but I think we're still gonna do that, like, right? So we're gonna take a tip to avoid temptation, and we'll come back and we'll ask gospel artist Glory Emmanuel, how does this gospel artist avoid temptation? Because trust me, I feel like a lot of them might even want to go into, you know, the secular music because they feel like that's where it pays more. But let's go for this tip. We'll be right back to continue the show. Don't go nowhere. Stay with us.
7 tips to avoid temptation. Pray for strength. To withstand temptation, we first need the will and a sincere desire to choose the right. It helps a lot if a situation in advance comes and then to choose the right thing. Another thing that helps is prayer. If we will pray for strength, seek out spiritual nourishment, and choose carefully where we hang out, then the Holy Ghost can be our constant companion to be with us and to warn us. Support each other. Reading the scriptures daily. Praying, exercising self-control, and following the words of the prophet, we can resist temptation. Resisting temptation strengthens your faith and shows your commitment to Heavenly Father to keep the covenant you have made. Having friends at the church can also help us because we can support each other. It takes a lot of courage to say no. Surround yourself with people of value. The friends we keep fan the flame of our desires into manifestation. The scriptures have warned severely about not walking in the counsel of the ungodly, not sharing path with sinners, and not being in the company of those that scorn honorable living. Evidently, evil communication and association corrupt good manners. Grow into spiritual maturity. It finds expression in envy, divisions, and strife. It is important, therefore, to have a growth plan. A Christian that must avoid the stink of temptation and the wages of sin must purge himself fit for enlistment in kingdom activities. Believers must work hard to purify themselves. Learn to recognize temptation. Temptation is well tempting. It presents something to us as pleasant, through or both. We want to give in because it presents something to us that pulls on our desires and presents us with something that seems good. Know yourself well. In the Christian life, we have many enemies, one of which is our old corrupt nature that lingers within us. It may seem odd, but we must make a study of ourselves. Personality, circumstances, disposition, and life experiences are all factors that make us more susceptible to certain kinds of temptations. Rest. We are more susceptible to temptation when we are exhausted. When we are tired, we are weakened and so more vulnerable to the deceptions of the devil. Rest is very important for our spirituality. We must be extra vigilant when tired, asking the Lord for extra strength to resist temptation.
All right, welcome back. Yes, sister, watching Women's Corner. And while we're listening to Success Story, we decided to put Glory on the spot because she's a gospel artist. And it's not like the other part of her is not interesting, but yes, it is interesting. But usually, let's talk about the songwriting. How does she get her inspiration for songwriting before we ask about the temptation that gospel artists go through every single time? Can we have Glory back on the screen? Okay, so Glory, now of course we know that not all artists, not all singers are writers. Do you understand? I think that's the point. And some persons believe because they sing and once there's a spirit of something, they immediately have words to compose, they have the words to put together. Basically, they might even have the tune, which is fine, which is normal, but the words itself. So I just want to ask, how did you become a songwriter? Was it something that you usually write, or it comes to you, or someone has to write, your music for you before, you put them into a tune?
Okay, before now, I didn't believe I could write a song until there came a time when in our group, our music director asked each and every one of us to go and compose a song, gave us a topic each for which we were going to compose the song on. I told him I cannot compose the song. He said I should search within, that I have the gift inside me. Let me just go back, pray about it, and ask God to unveil it to me. So I went back, I was just praying about it, talking to God about the topic I was given. Before you know it, one day during my morning devotions, I was just singing and a tune came, and before you know it, voila, I composed the song. So when I brought it, they were like, this is good. So I went back to God, I'm like, okay, if this actually is from you, I really want to experience more of this. And that is how, before you know it, song upon song kept coming. At times during my devotions in the morning, I'll have the song. At times, a message, during the message in the Bible, just a word will drop in my spirit. Then I'll go back, a tune will come. Then at times I'll sit back and get the other lyrics from the Bible. At times, both the verse, the chorus, and everything will just come at once. So it all depends on the inspiration you have at that particular time. At times, like I said, it's just a word that you see. At times, it's a scenario. Like the song I wrote about Nigeria, I just sat down and thought about the situation of the country. I'm like, where did we get this wrong? So it now dropped in my spirit that where we are today is as a result of where we were before. What we did before is what is catching up with us now. That means whatever we are doing now will live and tell what tomorrow will be. That's why I said the song I sang about Nigeria said, I will live for my fatherland. I will do what I have to do For what I will do today will live tomorrow and tell what tomorrow will be. What I will do today will tell what tomorrow will be. So that's the song I got. I just, as a result of just reminiscing on what the country is and what the future is going to look like. So I'm like, whatever our actions are today is what will determine what our future will be.
Amazing. Okay, my last question, our last question for today. I'll go to the part of temptation. We know there are a lot of temptation out there for gospel artists, but I want to tilt a little bit to the male, because recently a lot of people tend to believe that our male gospel singers tend to look for the usually when they want to describe a quote and unquote, they want to describe the Christian regular kind of girl is the one that always has these long skirts, not so much makeup on, looking, when you see them, how they look, yeah, like that. But we notice that a lot of people, a lot of our gospel artists have been marrying the very, very pretty ones. And most of them sometimes are not even based in Nigeria. So Nigerians are coming out to ask that what is going on with our, if we say the secular musicians are going out there to get married to their kind, which is fine, but how about we who have the very good girls in the church? Why are they going outside? Not basically outside the church in quote actually, but maybe outside the country to marry this certain type of girls, which somehow, they believe like maybe they are not even the churchy girls. Do you understand? Is there any reason, like, I don't know if you've encountered any gospel male artists, is there any reason you think that might be the reason why this might be the reason why they're actually going for that and not maybe the ones in Nigeria who are like the churchy girls? Let me use that word.
Okay, for those of them that are going outside Nigeria, I want to believe because they have traveled wide and near, they've seen all. Actually, the issue of marriage, I want to believe that this is my own belief that it's like God has stopped choosing women for men since the day Adam blamed God for choosing a wife for him. So you will have to listen to your spirit. We are not confined by our environments. Things of the spirit goes beyond our environment. It goes wherever the antenna leads you to. It could be in Nigeria, it could be out there. But as long as you're comfortable and you're sure that God is leading you, we don't want to just judge them. If they are all sure that God is leading them to those people, why not? Fair, tall, shapy or not, it's all, if it is the will of God for them, fine. And we can see that it's working for them. You hardly hear any one of them complaining. But from what we see, from Nathaniel Bassey to, I don't want to mention names though, but for all the ones that we've seen that have married beautiful women in quotes, they are doing fine. Which I want to believe that it's God that has led them to such women.
Just one more question before we let you go. And this question really, I don't know how you're going to be able to answer for every one of you gospel ministers. Okay, so we have seen a lot of videos, a lot of stories of gospel ministers who had killed people. The last one was a popular gospel minister who killed supposed girlfriend and even ate her intestine and had arranged her in the freezer as per how he will be bringing her out to eat. What do you think is happening? Do you think those gospel ministers are fake?
The only thing I can say is
just using Christianity to
remember when
act?
Okay. What I'll have to say is, you remember when the angels gathered in heaven, the devil was with them. So it's not every gospel musician that is called by God. Some of them called themselves actually. For a gospel artist to have the mind to kill, you will know that such person is definitely not called by God. Because the Bible says, for many are called, but few few are chosen. So those ones are among the many that are called. Then the genuine ones are among those that the few ones that are being chosen. Because the Bible says, from their fruits, by their fruits, you shall know them. So if definitely you are bearing fruits that is not Christ-like, you are not doing that for God. You are doing it for yourself. Probably for the money, for the fame, or for whatever reason, I wouldn't know. But definitely they are not of God.
The end of the program. I can't ask any more questions, even though we have questions to ask. Trust me, when you hear gospel, you hear artists, we just want to dive right in. But anyways, thank you very much, Glory Emmanuel, for being on the show. This was much insightful, and I hope a lot of Nigerians' questions have been answered, because there are a lot of questions, trending when you hear, take for example, Wale Aro. They always have something to say. Even experienced one recently when he said he went to the mountains. But anyways, can't discuss anything further. But I want to say a very big thank you to you, Glory, for being on the show. It was very insightful, and I did enjoy your session with us. Thank you. But I hope you enjoyed the program too.
I did. I definitely had a swell time. Thank you so much, Blossom. Thank you so much, my big sister Patricia, for having me here. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
All right, and that's it. Well, we'll have to wrap up right now, but I did enjoy this, and I think the answers she gave is not something far-fetched. It's something I already know. But the only thing I could not fathom, which she already responded to, is the fact whereby I see a gospel artist charging in millions. And
she didn't even give us a clear answer.
She didn't give a clear answer. She had to, yeah, but at least somehow, I don't know. I don't think I can wrap my head around it, but it's fine. It's fine.
And then, Blossom, I'm going to make this clear. She just told us about her music, how she came into her music. We wanted to hear more. Her life, she just...
The history, the real deal.
Yeah, she just came into the music part of her life. She did not tell us the other part of her life. And, we would like to hear that part someday.
Of course, maybe some of the time we'll bring her up to hear the other side of it. But anyways, well, we've come to the end of the program. We'll